Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Feeling a little under the weather. Caught some sort of bug. Last night was hell. I'm feeling a little better today. Sitting around bored. I should be writing right now. I'm working on this third novel in my Los Angeles Syndicate series. The first two novels are awesome. I'm really proud of them. And this novel's different. When I publish all these books, these 3 books, I'm going to publish them all at once. You'll notice a difference in this third book, but it's a good change, and I'm excited to write this book. But I don't want to write it while I'm not feeling good, because what comes out may not be very good. I may have to just go and delete it anyways. So I'm taking the day off. I'm just sitting around watching TV. Figured I'd make a video. Let's see how it goes. I was reading an article earlier about Kanye West. I looked at one article on my Google News feed, because I have a Google News feed on my tablet that shows up. I read one article, and now it thinks, the algorithm thinks that I'm a Kanye West fan. I don't give a fuck about this guy. The article was funny because they're talking about something that happened to him a few years back, where he was praising Hitler. And somebody on his staff, one of his assistants, I guess, became really offended, and he had to pay her off to shut her up, I guess. Came out anyways. He's probably going to want his money back. You pay someone off to keep their fucking mouth shut, then they go run their mouth. You should get your money back. I was talking about it with a friend, and he tried to, not that he's a Kanye West fan, but he tried to defend Kanye as if he's some kind of fucking historian or some shit. And I think it's possible that he actually likes Hitler. Kanye West didn't he have an album? I'm not a fan of his, so I mean, what I know is possibly wrong, but didn't he have some sort of album that was called Black Skinhead? Well, there are black skinheads. I've known several. And let me tell you about the black skinheads that I've known. Throughout my life, I've known lots and lots and lots of skinheads. The skinhead scene isn't just Nazis. Let's get that straight to start off with. The skinhead scene came out of England, the working class kind of alternative to punk rock. The punk rockers were kind of communists, socialists. They were definitely what we would call today like social justice warriors. The punks, and you can go look at the lyrics of any fucking old punk shit, Dead Kennedys is a good example. It's all super woke bullshit. The skinheads liked punk rock as a fashion and as music, but they didn't vibe on the message because they were working class and had rather conservative values. So there was kind of a split in the punk scene, and there was a big thing back in the early 80s to bring the punks and the skins together. There was that song, "If We Were All United, Then We Would Never Be Divided." And that was like kind of an anthem. In 1988, they had what was called the Summer of Hate. We saw the first Nazi skins come out of Dallas, Texas. America had never seen Nazi skinheads before 1988. They were a thing in Europe and in other places, but we hadn't had any crews. There weren't really any Nazi crews before then. Now, if you're embedded in the scene and you're somehow watching this video, maybe you can correct me, but this is my understanding of the history. 1988, the Summer of Hate. And on a national scene, even Araldo and everybody was paying attention to these Nazi skins, and it kind of took over the scene, unfortunately. These poor skinheads there were Jewish skinheads, there were Latino skinheads, damn right there were all kinds of Mexican skinheads. There were Indonesian skinheads, Malaysian skinheads, South American, Panamanian, black, African. I knew a guy from Africa, this guy Afi. His name was Afi, A-F-I. His parents were from Africa, I don't know what country. They spoke Swahili or whatever it was in the home. And he was dark as fuck, darker than my my hoodie here, and he was straight up skinhead. Offie was as skinhead could be. Boots, braces, the whole fucking thing. Tattooed all up. I went to high school in Washington, D.C. D.C. had a huge punk rock scene. We had our own bands. We didn't have to ride off of New York. New York had a big scene, but we didn't ride off of New York. D.C. we had our own punk scene in D.C. And anybody who's my age and knows about punk music, you probably listen to some D.C. bands. Black Flag, Henry Rollins, he was a D.C. boy, D.C. skinhead. Ian McKay from whatever it is, Fugazi, Minor Threat, D.C. skinhead. I could go on and on. Iron Cross at Baltimore. There was a gang called the D.C. Skins. They made the papers several times. They made the news. They were a criminal gang that would commit acts of violence upon people. And D.C. has never been a Nazi town. They had Nazis in Baltimore. But not really D.C. But the D.C. Skins were suspicious because they had this strange leader, the leader of the D.C. Skins back in the 80s. It was so weird. The leader of the D.C. Skins was a woman, a black woman by the name of Lefty. Lefty was big. She was bigger than me, bigger than most guys that I knew. She's big, 6'4", 300 pounds, covered in tattoos, swastikaed all up. Lefty had swastika tattoos. She was always cool with me. I'd get high with her. I'd see Lefty around, and I was always cool with Lefty. I was always cool with the D.C. Skins. Well, I was cool with a lot of people. I knew several of the D.C. Skins. They all worshipped Lefty. Lefty would walk around with a bunch of white boys, all look like little clones. Just shaved head, boots, braces, bomber jackets. And then there'd be this big black chick covered in swastikas. They'd go beat up gay people down in the DuPont Circle section of Washington, D.C., which is the notoriously gay section. That's our Greenwich Village. It made the news. They were just hunting them, hunting gays, stomping them down, curb stomping them. I'm laughing about it. It was terrible. So when I read that article about Kanye West and his little Nazi stuff, I instantly remembered Lefty. I bet you Kanye and Lefty would get along great. Wouldn't that be a couple? They should get married. He should go from Kim Kardashian to Lefty. Kanye and Lefty could be Sieg Heiling, goose stepping all over the internet. It would be hilarious. I don't know. It's the type of shit I guess I think about when I'm sick. Thanks for watching.